Hi all, welcome to Physio Exam Buddy. This video is on the factors regulating erythropoiesis. While writing the answer for factors regulating erythropoiesis, we can classify under these headings, that is general factors, maturation factors and factors necessary for hemoglobin formation. So it will be easy to write the answer. Now we will see what are the general factors. Under general factors, you have to explain tissue oxygenation, hormones like erythropoietin, then hemopoietic growth factors as well as certain metals that helps in erythropoiesis. Under maturation factors comes the vitamin B12 as well as the folic acid, and finally the factors necessary for the hemoglobin formation. So first about the general factors, that is tissue oxygenation. That is one of the most essential regulator of RBC production. You all know that whenever there occurs a decrease in the tissue oxygenation, that is hypoxia occurs, then there will be increase in the RBC production. So the factors, any factor that decreases the tissue oxygenation like decreased blood volume, anemia, poor blood flow, pulmonary diseases as well as high altitude will produce increase in the RBC production. And the hormones that mainly affects the erythropoiesis are erythropoietin, androgens, estrogens, thyroxine, ACTH and adrenocorticoid as well as the catecholamines. We will see each hormone in detail. First one is the erythropoietin. It is basically a glycoprotein containing 165 amino acid residues as well as 4 oligosaccharide chain. Regarding the site of secretion of this erythropoietin, 85% of the erythropoietin is secreted in the kidney, that is from the interstitial cells in the peritubular capillary beds. Whereas 15% of the erythropoietin in the human body is secreted from the liver, that is from the perivenous hepatocytes, and very small portion also from the brain. And the stimulus for secretion of the erythropoietin is always hypoxia, whereas the site of inactivation of the erythropoietin is the liver. Now about the actions of the erythropoietin. We all study during the stages of erythropoiesis, basically BFUE to CFUE, the last stages, as well as CFUE to pronormoblast and subsequently into mature RBCs. All these differentiation occurs only in the presence of erythropoietin. Another action is that it will increases the hemoglobin synthesis. It also decreases the maturation time of RBCs, and it also favors the release of mature erythrocytes from the bone marrow. The conditions which increase the erythropoietin secretion are basically hypoxia, renal artery constriction, because it will produces hypoxia like situation in the renal kidneys, hemolytic anemia as well as hemorrhage. All these will increase the erythropoietin secretion in the body. Whereas the erythropoietin secretion is decreased in case of liver cirrhosis as well as renal failure and increase in the RBC count, because kidneys as well as liver are the site of production of the erythropoietin. So whenever any disease occurs in these kidneys as well as in liver, there will be decrease in the secretion of the erythropoietin. The hormones which are influencing the erythropoiesis are, first one is androgens. Androgens will increase the erythropoietin secretion and thereby increases the erythropoiesis. Now, what is the action of the estrogen? Estrogen actually decreases the sensitivity of the progenitor cells for the action of the erythropoietin. It also will inhibit the synthesis of the globin in the liver. That is why the RBC count is decreased in case of females. And another hormone is the ACTH as well as the adrenocorticoid hormones, which will increase the erythropoietin secretion. Next is the thyroxine. You all know that the main function of the thyroxine is increase in the basal metabolic rate. So by increasing the tissue metabolism, it will decrease the oxygen tension, thereby increasing the erythropoiesis by indirectly increasing the erythropoietin secretion. Next is about the catecholamine. Again increases the erythropoietin secretion and thereby erythropoiesis. Next factor is the hemopoietic growth factors, especially interleukin 1, which produced from multiple cell types, interleukin 3 produced by the T cells mainly, and interleukin 6 which is produced from the endothelial cells, fibroblast as well as macrophages, and interleukin 11 from the fibroblast as well as the osteoblast favors the erythropoiesis. And next is the granulocyte monocyte colony stimulating factor from the fibroblast endothelial cells as well as T cells, as well as stem cell factor which is obtained from multiple cell types. So all these hemopoietic factors favor the erythropoiesis, and again erythropoietin is also another hemopoietic factor. Under metals, the main metals which affects the erythropoiesis are iron, copper as well as cobalt. Iron, it is the main content of the hemoglobin. Then copper, it favors the absorption as well as utilization of the iron. Cobalt will again stimulate the erythropoietin secretion. Next is about the maturation factors. Mainly include vitamin B12 or cyanocobalamin. You all know that it is a cobalt containing vitamin, and the main sources of this vitamin B12 are milk, meat, liver, eggs as well as the bacterial flora in the intestine. Now about the absorption of the vitamin B12 in our body. This vitamin B12, when it reaches the stomach, it will combine with the intrinsic factor of calcium which is secreted from the parietal cells. And this complex is taken up by another protein which is known as tubulin, which is mainly present in the ileal mucosal receptors, and it will be endocytosed into the enterocyte. And after absorption, it is transported in combination with transcobalamin 2, which is stored in the liver. And the main actions of vitamin B12 are it will increase the DNA synthesis and it will decreases the maturation time of RBC. And the deficiency of this vitamin B12 usually leads to megaloblastic or pernicious anemia. Next maturation factor is the folic acid, and the main sources of folic acid are green leafy vegetables as well as liver. And the actions of folic acid include it is necessary for the DNA synthesis as well as maturation of the red blood cells. Along with the vitamin B12 only it will produce the action. The deficiency of the folic acid also will produce megaloblastic anemia. Thank you.